Nixon said that the Bohemian Grove is the softest place he's ever been.
Oh.
That's the word he did not use, soft. But look it up. He also said you should never shake anyone's hand from San Francisco.
Because of all the poop.
Well, yeah, it's like he knew what was going to happen in San Francisco, but he knew it then. He's like, he's a prophet, and I also think Nixon's going to have a redemption arc at some point soon. It's going to happen. He knew the deal. But let's bring on the chef. Chef, sir.
Hey, you hear me?
Yes. How are you? Thank you for joining us.
Good. Thanks for having me on.
Of course. So, you sent me all these pictures. We talked a little bit about your story there. I want to get into all that, but I want to cut right to the chase. You have seen the owl statue. I believe you've seen these sacrifices happen, whether they're mock sacrifices or not. We don't know. Walk us through what it was like to be at the owl and what these things are like. What is it? What is up there?
So, I mean, the owl, I'm sure you've seen the videos, but
Yeah.
it's hollow inside. There's a PA system in there, and there's a guy talking into it. Um, I've climbed like halfway up it. It's like, I don't know, like 35 feet tall.
Hmm.
In the front of it, there is like a weird kind of altar. Um, what they do is they all come out in these robes, and it's the cremation of care. So they're talking to Satan, the devil,
Hmm.
and they're throwing away their cares, and then they float out this wooden raft with like a body on it. And when it gets to the middle of the lake, they launch flaming arrows at it, and it blows up. And everybody cheers, and like you can hear the devil screaming, "No, not again!" Blah 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 blah.
So wait, I got some questions real quick.
Yeah, back up.
So there's a guy on a microphone in the owl, like doing
In
the
the
Satan
owl, it's hollow, yeah.
doing the Satan voice?
There's a whole PA system.
And when you say like a body on this, I think they call it the dull. Is it the dull care? They call that thing they burn actually.
It's the cremation of care.
Okay.
What are you talking about? The
I think
body?
Yeah, like the cremation of care. I think is like the ritual, but the actual like coffin or casket thing they use, I think they call dull care. I could be
I'm not
wrong,
sure. I'm not sure about that.
but so like, what is that exactly? Like they have like an effigy
It-
or something?
it's like an effigy. It's like an open casket effigy. It floats out to the middle of the lake. The whole lake is surrounded by speakers. They even have like fake frog sounds going the whole time.
What's that
And it
about?
blows up, and then these guys come out in this black, like medieval armor with torches, declaring they defeated Satan once again.
Whoa. And the guy in the PA system is pretending like he's been defeated. Is he like wailing?
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, it gets real loud.
Whoa. And what like so you're seeing this, is this at the July rituals?
So there's two different parts. Jinx is like the second week of June. It's like June 9th through like the 14th.
Hmm.
And it's just like to get everybody excited. And then you have an encampment, which is from like July 10th or maybe July 8th to like August 1st,
Hmm.
that all the members are there.
Okay. And how does the crowd react to the ritual?
Oh, they go nuts. What it is so the night of cremation of care, it's always on a Saturday. They come to, it's called the dining circle. It's in the middle of the encampment, and it's like 2,400 members. So we'll do like three or four turns of the dining circle area.
Hmm.
So like 900 at a time, but they're all rushing to go eat and then
Hmm.
go see the show. The big, big thing.
Wow. Wow. How deep into the woods is it? Like how long does it take you to get there?
Well, it's 2,700 acres.
Hmm.
There's 125 camps.
Oh, sorry.
Um,
Someone is asking where is Bohemian Grove. So if you just want to
Oh, yeah.
clarify.
Bohemian Grove, Monte Rio and like north of San Francisco, is that right?
yeah, it's about 2 hours north of San Francisco. Monterey is the small town next to it. It's a small town of like maybe 1,500 people. You literally drive through, and then you're gonna get to a point where you either take a left or a right. You take a left, and then another left, and you go up like a mile and a half, 2 miles, and there's the gates for the Grove.
Okay. And so I want to get back to like how the whole architecture and the security of all, if there is, if I'm sure there is some security there, but
There's massive security.
yeah, and I want to get into that, and we'll get there in a minute. But like with this ritual, is this like the centerpiece of the week of the stay? Like this is clearly an important thing for them. Is it like just theater in your mind, or is it something more important to them?
I think mostly it's theater, but there's a lot of real dark undertones to it, right? Like I'm sure there's like a inner circle that is up to something. I mean, I can talk about a lot of that. I mean, one of the members is part of the Who. During the pandemic, we had a board member from the Who directing us on how to facilitate the event.
Oh wow,
Um,
not the
yeah,
band, the World Health Organization.
yeah.
Okay.
Hmm.
That's not that's yeah, I don't like that at all. I mean, there's
Well,
already
I
a lot
mean,
of
I
people
can tell
who've
you
been
about
involved. Yeah, tell us.
the chalet, the treehouse. It's where a bunch of world leaders met when they decided to nuke Japan.
Really?
Yep,
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
it's a big thing.
tell us about it.
I mean, I they have like plaques about it. I've cooked in the chalet in the treehouse. It's like a massive dining area in a big old tree. There's a tiny little kitchen in the back. It seats like maybe like 80 people, 70 or 80 people, something like that.
Mhm.
But that's like a special dinner. Not all members are invited to that. That's like the inner circle go to that.
Oh wow.
Uh,
Do you know if this is where there were people from the Manhattan Project that visited? Is that what
yeah,
that is?
yep, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. I didn't know that till recently, that there were people involved with the Manhattan Project visiting Bohemian Grove.
It was a big meeting. And I don't know exactly which world leaders were there, but some were there, and like people from Manhattan Projects. It just makes you think.
Yeah, like you're talking about you think there's an inner circle that might feel like they have more of a ritual purpose to the cremation of care and maybe a lot of people around it that see it more as theater. And when you talk about something like a meeting with the Manhattan Project and the atom bomb, all this stuff happening there, it makes you think that this isn't just theater for a lot of these people. This is something incredibly powerful happening, in this area. Uh, is that your sense having been there for like, I know you're not there now, and we'll get into your history there, but like having been there, working there, do you feel like there's that sense of these powerful people are connected, are the elite, running things in this country or the world?
There is a lot of important people there for sure. I mean, I personally shook hands with Henry Kissinger in like
Oof.
2020.
Did your hand get
Uh,
leprosy?
it's still here.
Okay.
It was very, very awkward. We
How
had a
was
lot of
that?
security with him.
Interesting.
Um, I mean, I remember, I'm not going to say his name, but the assistant general manager, so at, at the Grove, you get around either by golf cart
Mhm.
or if you want to look it up, they have these like 1950s like Ford flatbed trucks with bench seating in them, and that's how they get around.
That's
But
kind of cool.
so this guy was driving Kissinger around, and he pokes him on his shoulder and goes, "I gotta pee." So he just like literally just got off the golf cart and just peed right there.
Wow. I hope you shook his hand before.
This was before.
So can you tell us like a little bit about what you know of the Bohemian Grove, the Bohemian Club, like the history? Are you like, do you know much of that?
I mean, so it was founded in 1872. They just had their 150-year anniversary. I was there for that. It was
Hmm.
a big thing. Um, the the main club is actually really cool. It's really pretty. Um, uh, you walk in, um, there's the front desk. Everything's wood. Everything is wood and red,
Hmm.
right? And there's like owls everywhere. There's wooden or statues everywhere. There's an old school barber shop on the first floor, which is really cool. Um, I mean, I lived at the club for a while. I would
Yeah,
stay there for a couple of months at a time, but at one point I was living in the club for 8 months.
that's
Um,
crazy. So did you know about all this stuff before you were working there? Like, did you have any idea about the
no,
Grove?
no, no, no. Okay, so I was working in Fort Lauderdale
Hmm.
at a hotel, and one of my chef friends, he always talked about this place that he would go for the summer and work. And they call us guest chefs at that point. It's like a
Hmm.
contracted chef. Um, so 2015, my friend calls me up and he says, "Hey, remember that place I was telling you about? Well, one of the guest chefs backed out last minute. This is like literally a couple days before the Jinx in June starts.
Uh-huh.
He's like, I want you to call this chef. He's a certified master chef. There's not very many of them in the country." And so I call him and we had a great conversation. And he was like, normally, we really vet people out, but your friend speaks highly of you. Would you be available for this week to come do Jinx? And it was like, sure. And he's like, all right, I'll get back to you. I kid you not, within 30 minutes, I got an email with my flight booked, everything
Wow.
paid for. They
Whoa.
have mass money.
Right.
Um, so yeah, I was just there for that 1 week in 2015 for June. I didn't go for the big summer event
Hmm.
because I was busy. And then 2016, the same chef called me again. He's like, "We want you for all the events." So, like I said, it's like a week and then like a month and some change. Um, there's a lot involved with equipment, bringing it up from the. So I'm sure you've seen that video online, like the people sneaking into the grove and they're like, "Oh, look at all this cool stuff."
Yep.
There's nothing there. There's nothing there. Everything is transported up and down from the club. All the artwork, um, the massive libraries,
Right.
um, pianos, everything. They don't leave any of that stuff there. So I laugh when I see people going to the Grove sneak in. First of all, you're being watched. They have sensors all around that property,
Hmm.
so they know before you get there,
Hmm.
and there's nothing to see.
That's a job to send everyone there to get everything out and pull it back for all the people that you were saying go there.
It takes like a good week
Yeah.
back
That.
and forth, and like what they do is they rent a bunch of big cargo vans, like 8 or 9 of them, like shuttle buses. That's how they get uh, hourly employees in and out of the property.
Hmm.
There's a parking lot down below before the gate, and you have to shuttle because they don't want because a lot of the hourly people are like high school kids, believe it or not.
Hmm. Interesting.
It's kind of weird to be honest with you,
I
but I
mean,
mean it's cheap labor, I guess. But
there's a lot of rumors about a lot of crazy stuff that happens there in terms of trafficking of minors, and a lot of other stuff. It's so hard to know what's real and what's not because a lot of it's hearsay. A lot of
I I
it's
I wouldn't be surprised because I mean these guys are drinking all day long,
right.
right? And their majority of them are very wealthy, and I'm sure it happens.
It
I've
seems,
seen girls crying before. I've seen guys crying before.
yeah,
They're like in high school and then they're being approached with all this weird stuff.
right. And I've seen reports that things like the Super Bowl are also hubs for lots of trafficking. So it's not uncommon for a place where a lot of people, a lot of money coalesces for a lot of really bad things to go down, which is why the whole place and the secrecy around it is so bizarre.
Do you know who owns the property?
I think it's the club itself, right?
It's the club owns it, yeah.
Yeah.
They've
Wow.
had it. I
It's
think
like
they've
if you're
had
a
the
member.
Grove since I want to say 1890.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think you're right. It started out, I think, of just like artists, right? Writers,
It was just
journalists.
artists and musicians. That's all it used to be.
Yep.
Hmm.
Then it got hijacked. This is why I was thinking of it like Burning Man,
That's
because
like anything now.
Burning Man, right? It was like all these weirdos out there burning the things and
Right.
having fun, and then it became like corporate,
More corporate, yeah.
kind of like South by Southwest. All these things get hijacked
Yeah.
eventually by the vampires in the corporate world and the government. So I think Mark Twain was even part of the early Bohemian Grove stuff.
I'm not sure about that. Maybe I
Yeah,
wouldn't be surprised.
I think so. And then it grew into like presidential candidates,
Mm-hmm.
Herbert Hoover. like I said, Nixon. You know, but there's a lot of people who say they've been there or who are rumored to go there, like Teddy Roosevelt and stuff. So
the Bush family has their own camp.
He was a
That's
member,
right.
Mark Twain, by the way.
What, Mark Twain was there?
He was a member, yeah.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, the Bushes have their own camp. What's it called? Like the Hillbilly something?
The hillbillies, yeah.
The Hillbilly, yeah. Yeah, I've seen that. That is wild.